want to take a quick minute and talk about condiments. Condiments are so crucial when we're cooking because you have the ability to flavor something after it's already cooked, maybe in a way that you like. Asian cooking is a great example of this. You know, depending upon whatever region in Asia you're talking about, there are some components that are held true, and the best part is you usually have other little dishes that are around it to season whatever you're eating. And so with that same token, you know, you can have a dish that you can make and maybe you like it one set way. You don't like it overly spicy, and your partner really, really likes it spicy. So all you have to do is have a little hot sauce on the table. You can have your dish prepared the way you like it. They can season theirs with the hot sauce and make their dish the way you like it without having to create two different total meals. It makes life a lot easier. And now we're gonna some of the things in this package. Sesame oil. Sesame oil is something that we use to season. You don't necessarily saute in. It has a very low flash point. So I do not recommend starting cooking with sesame oil. It's usually something you add right near the end. Good old soy sauce, always everyone's friend. I like having oyster sauce laying around. Very, very flavorful. It's a little bit salty. And then fish sauce, which is something that you gain from umami. We taste 5 different things. And so most people say 4, it's actually 5. The 5th one is umami, or that savory flavor. And so with some of these ingredients, we can kind of pull some of those flavors out. With rice, we have our rice. We're not sure how we want to season it. You know, a lot of people like sushi, and everybody always associates sushi with raw seafood. Well, the fun thing about sushi is really about the seasoned rice. And it's very, very easy to make, and you don't have to roll it all up. You can just season that rice that way and then eat it with your chicken dish or whatever you might want. To do that, what you're gonna do is need some rice wine vinegar, a little bit of mirin, which is a sweeter rice extract, and some sugar. Rice wine, mirin, sugar, mix it together, and then you've got something that's sweet but yet bitter and sour with that vinegariness. You season that in with the rice, it gets it a little sticky and clumpy, and you can eat it that way. It works out great. Turn this on. We're gonna do some sauteing or some stir frying right now. While that pan's getting heated up, I want to prep up a couple of vegetables for you for the stir fry. Stir fry only works with day-old rice because you need it to be able to kind of separate out. You need some crunchy stuff to it. We always like carrots, so we can go coin cut if we wanted to. But the one thing about coin cut is it definitely takes a long time to cook one piece of this. So what we can do, instead of coin cut, we can kind of lay them on their side. We now have matchsticks with fairly uniform size and shape, because cooking, we want everything to be about the same size, especially denseness. Put some shiitake mushrooms in there, which are one of my faves. And the stems are what you don't use with the shiitakes. They're way too hard. But you can save these stems and put them in with your stock. We got our shiitake mushrooms. We want some bell pepper. I like red peppers as opposed to green peppers. I like the flavor a little bit better. Now the pan's starting to get a little bit warm. So I'm going to add my oil to it. When we're sauteing, we do not put food into a cold pan, and we do not put anything into a cold oil. For the pepper, we're just going to chop the ends off, and then what you've got left are these veins. You're just going to pick a vein and walk it right down. And we now have our pepper ready to go. This is still all very usable. We've got our pepper. And our aromatic. Our aromatic is our garlic. Got our garlic ready to go. Now that pan's nice and hot, we're going to saute the carrots. Those have been going for a minute or two and they're starting to crisp up. And it's going to go pretty quick after that. We've got our red peppers. And our mushrooms. And now we've got them cooking away. There's a term in the kitchen called mise en place. Everything has its place. I made sure that I had all the components I needed out in front of me instead of putting something in and then cutting it up and putting something else in. Everything's ready to go, so I don't have to worry. So as I'm cooking, everything's ready to go. Until you're really good at this by flipping bread, I don't recommend it. Now I'm going to add my aromatic, which is that garlic, that minced garlic. The garlic will burn quickly, so we don't want it to burn. You can start to smell the garlic kind of coming out. Now we're going to take our rice, our day-old rice, break that up in there. Now's where the magic happens. And we just take all of our little components, a little soy sauce, a little oyster sauce, some mirin. Use the fish sauce sparingly. And don't break it in your house. It will not smell very good. Now when we're stir frying, the important thing is you're still hearing that snap, crackle, and pop as we've gone along the entire time. And I've got some fresh herbs that I'm just going to ball up. This happens to be cilantro. So we're going to put him in right at the end. We always want to taste as we're cooking. Find out what it needs. Now I'm going to add a little sesame oil. It's going to need a little of this. And that's a delicious stir fry that's ready to go. Super easy to do, just a couple of minutes. And the best part is, really, you can create different styles of stir fry anytime you want. I could have added hot sauce to there. I could have added less soy sauce and maybe more of the mirin and more of the oyster sauce to it instead. I could have went a lot of different ways with just a couple of those simple ingredients. Which is a lot of fun. You know, if I wanted to throw some jalapeno in there, the vegetables can change. The shapes of the vegetables can change, so it doesn't always seem like you're eating the exact same thing all the time. That's why I think rice is a great tool to use for different dishes. When we start talking about veggies, one of my favorite things that I like to make at home is what I call a veggie bake. And you know, this we'll use this in place of, you know, your 13 by 9 glass pan. If you have these laying around, I like just a little bit of pan release spray. And the best part about this dish is the fact that it is only hindered and stopped by your own imagination. Whatever you want to put into this works. Now, what I like to put into it, and I guess the only parameters are, I like having a starch or something that's starchy on the top and on the bottom. After that, we're good. And so to build it, we took sweet potatoes, nice and lightly sliced, and we're just gonna layer them. Kind of as if you're making like a lasagna. Let them touch, hang out, be friends. And then after that, I'm always a fan of zucchini. It can be whatever you want, again, or whatever you might have in your refrigerator. Instead of trying to make a saute or a toss or a bake, you can add it this way, and it's a little bit of a different presentation. If you have canned beans at home, mixing some canned beans like some black beans or some black-eyed peas, pintos, Great Northerns, whatever you might have, you can drain them off, rinse them off, you can put them in here. We eat with our eyes, so I like trying to have as much color as possible. It's also important every once in a while to season it with some salt and pepper. And this is where you can have fun. The last one I made was Southwest. So as I was seasoning with salt and pepper, I was also seasoning with cumin, chili powder, and a little bit of cayenne to give it that kind of Southwest feel throughout as I was building these layers. So now I got those layers, and now I'm gonna take some rice, because I've got some rice that's left over that was just kind of hanging out. And the rice goes in. Could you use pasta for this? Absolutely. Do you have to put rice in here? No, you don't. It's just, hey, I've got it here. I like it texturally in this dish. It works well. All right, well, what else do I want? I kind of like my tomato. I like tomatoes. I like using fresh tomatoes, not raw ones. I put those tomatoes in. Now the cool thing is with these guys in the center, these guys are gonna melt out, or cook down. A lot of liquid's gonna be lost, and it's gonna create its own sauce. So after tomatoes, we're gonna want a binder. So one of everyone's favorite things is called cheese. So we're just gonna put some cheese on there. And one of my favorite things, baby spinach. Now baby spinach, or any spinach, as we know, when it cooks down to next to nothing. So you can pack that spinach in and load it up. And then for the little salt and pepper. And then the top layer, again, is the sweet potatoes. We got this in there. You're gonna cover this up with a little tin foil into your oven at about 400 degrees for about a half hour. Pull it out, tin foil comes off, some more cheese goes on top because everybody likes cheese. That goes back into the oven for about 15 minutes, and when you pull it out, it'll be all nice and brown and bubbly and gooey. Pull it out, let it sit for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There will be liquid in the bottom of the pan. That's where that sauce kind of comes in. I like leaving it there, so as I'm pulling out a piece or a chunk and reheating it, you can just pour a little bit of that liquid right on top and it won't be dried out. It is a little bit messy and sloppy, but again, it's kind of a nice, easy way. You can make one of these and it will easily make 7 to 8 servings, if not more, throughout an entire week. So if you're not sure what vegetables to cook, you can make a veggie bake, and if you put beans in it, there's your source of protein. So this could be your entree, this could be your side, or you could have this with a salad, you could have this with some chicken or some fish, and you can play it a lot of different ways and have some fun with it. So I hope that, like I said, veggie bake, always fun. I usually make them, every other week or so, and always changing them up. One of my other favorites is a Mediterranean one, where I'll add some harissa paste, or you can use some romesco and add some different flavors to it and have some fun. I hope that some of these things that we've talked about today have stirred that idea of, hey, I can easily do this, I can do this, I don't have to buy it already pre-made. Have some fun, use those tools, use those sheets to try and help you plan things out a little bit easier. Think about that idea of cooking once and then eating 2 or 3 times to make your life just a little bit easier. If you have any questions, my email address is chefkurt, CHEFKURT, @msu.edu. And I thank you all very much.